Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Collar Beer Gentleman. I'm Topher and I started this channel because I'm a fan of craft beer, but I'm also on a limited budget. And I wanted to demonstrate it was possible to enjoy good quality beers without having to break the bank. And I think I found a pretty good deal on today's selection. $2 is what I paid for the 12-ounce can of Red Zeppelin Amber Ale from 5440 Brewing. 5440 Brewing is out of Washougal, Washington. Never been through there. Don't really have much information to give you about that. I'll try to put a link down in the description that maybe leads to Washougal. I'm not entirely certain where Washougal is. That's my fault. I didn't do my homework. As I said, I paid $2 for this. I picked this up at Hilton's Haven, which is located at 21415 Southeast Stark. That's in Gresham, Oregon, just outside of Portland, Oregon. This beer at the time of the recording is 11 months old, and I have had only one other beer from 5440 Brewing. That was their Cascadia Kolsch. I had that on January 19th, and I gave it a 4.5. It also came in a can, so the beer must have gotten a 4.25, extra 0.25 for arriving in a can. Among the reviewing community, the only friend of mine on Untapped who has given this beer a review is Middleside Topwise. In September of 2019, he gave it a 3.25, so kind of lukewarm. 586 of us on Untapped have given it a cumulative score of 3.62. Beer Advocate has only had 5 rankings with an average score of 3.41. With only 5 rankings, it doesn't qualify for an overall score, so there's no cumulative score at Beer Advocate. That's not a big deal. This beer has a 5.6 ABV. Typically, amber ales come in between 4.5 and 6.2. This has 26 IBUs according to 5440's website. Typically, an amber ale comes in between 25 and 40 on the IBU scale. Amber ales basically sprang out of the red/brown ale movement. Ambers to me are a little more, the reds usually tend to be a little fruitier, the ambers tend to be a little bit more biscuity. The reds focus a little bit more on the fruitiness of the hops, the ambers focus a little bit more on the maltiness. But that's you know, it's almost splitting hairs at that point. So it'd be safe to say that ambers and reds are pretty much the same beer. So I'm going to go ahead and crack this bad boy open. I'm going to be pouring here. Very nice copper color. Very nice copper color. Liking that a lot. Nice tan head on top of that. On top of the copper colored beer. That's exactly what an amber ale should look like. Dark, but not so dark that I can't see my hand on the other side. Going to describe that as medium-high carbonation. Lots of little bubbles working their way up to the head on this beer. Let me give this a quick beard wipe, see what I encounter. Malt. Certainly encountered a lot of malt, and that's what you should with an amber ale. You should definitely be picking up on the malt. But I'm also getting a little bit of a stone fruit fruitiness to it too. So almost like a little bit like a peach, not quite full-on peach, but maybe like a plum. It's difficult for me to narrow down exactly which stone fruit I'm getting on that bouquet, but there is something fruity there. Another thing I want to point out about 5440 Brewing, as I said, I forgot to tell you where exactly Washougal is, but they are an independent craft brewer. Nancy's going to be sure to get that logo up there for me. When you see that upside-down beer bottle with the word independent bold, then you know that you're drinking a craft beer. So I wanted to, as I said, I wanted to point that out about the brewer, but I think now is about the time to start getting some drinking done, considering I'm seeing some really nice lacing on this, and we've only got a 5.6 ABV, so cheers. Okay, going to describe that as a medium-high mouthfeel, a little bit of spikiness to it. Not much in the way of an alcohol burn. 5.6 ABV, that's not really, I mean, it could go either way. I'll put it to you that way. You could end up with an alcohol burn, you could end up with none. I'm noticing just the slightest bit on the back end of the throat, but nothing really substantial. I would not go so far as to say that there's an alcohol burn in this beer. Very crisp and dry. Has a crispness to the initial taste, a dryness that rounds it out. Just a little bit of creaminess to it, but not a whole lot. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a creamy beer. Just a little bit of creamy finish on that dry roundness at the end. I'm a little surprised actually at how much of the hop profile I'm getting more than the malt. The malt definitely showed up more in the bouquet than it did on the tongue, and the hops are, I would say, much better represented in this beer than the malt, and that's okay. It's just not exactly what I was expecting for an amber. It's more what I would be thinking of for a red, but it's an American amber, so an American amber can go in either direction. Well, I think it's a pretty good beer, but I do see why it got the lukewarm reviews. It's not that it's a bad beer. It's just that there's nothing particularly exemplary about this beer or noteworthy. I think the beer itself deserves a 3.5 for arriving in a can. It's going to get that extra 0.25. So an overall score of 3.75 on the 5-point scale on Untapped is what I'll be giving it. But all in all, I think it's a pretty good beer. And for $2, really, I don't think you can go wrong on the price there. Hilton's Haven, a good place for beer. Nice guys. And I definitely will be buying more beers from them. Well, guys, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other channel, Fat 50 and Running a Marathon. And until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers!